Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the crew of Starbase 173. Their mission to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life forms and new civilizations, to boldly go where no one has gone before.
Last I left you guys, you were standing around. You just hit injected the cure for everybody into the ventilation system, and now you had to wait. And now that you're waiting, you guys ended up coming back into the medical bay and came to see Dr. Zars. As you guys were walking over to see Dr. Zars, some of you felt rather peculiar, to say the least.
Again.
And realize that once again you are feeling peculiar and
So does this mean Matt lactated twice?
um if you want to disclose your symptoms, you can re-roll a 100 and find out what your symptoms are.
My eyes are still bulging.
Yeah.
For 4 minutes.
For 4 minutes. All right.
Do you
Matt,
want us to roll?
that's a D100 you're rolling.
Which one do you want us to roll?
A D100 and then roll a D20.
All right.
So which one is 84?
Hold on. Your uncontrollable flatulence.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
So
I got a 44.
Strong urge for gambling and prostitution.
For 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
Vasco, see what he's got.
Yep, he got the same symptom again.
Yep. For roll, and he got for 14 minutes. Peculiar symptoms. You went to go see Dr. SARS and see what's going on. Upon marching into her office, she is sitting down at her desk. There is some side effects to this cure, and I really didn't disclose them to you beforehand. She says, unfortunately, I did not know what did not know what the symptoms could be or like the side effects could be to this cure. We did just kind of rushed it through, and it seems to be reversing everybody back to what it was before, to their original form before, back to normal. But there is some side effect, and I didn't know that at the time. So, I mean, she's like, I'm extrapolating the data as we speak, and it sounds like everybody is suffering from one of these 10 symptoms. Anything from an erection lasting more than 4 hours, swelling of the hands and feet, hallucinations, spontaneous lactation, strong urge for gambling, and or erotic thoughts, spontaneous hair growths in weird places, blue urine, drowsiness, flagellance, or bulging of the eyes.
I think one of us has that symptom of flatulence because it fucking smells in here.
Yeah, it smells like rotten eggs.
Something don't smell right down south.
And because Vulcans have a plant-based diet, then
Oh,
that would contribute.
But all in all, I think you all did it like a fantastic job and helped me out. I have no idea how long it's going to take for everybody here to be treated. But if you care to go out and look to see how our space station is doing, you're more than welcome to see how everybody out there is doing. See if the cure is working for absolutely everybody, and I'm pretty sure it is. But
Wow.
the other thing you notice is that the red alert status has stopped. And you have once again started hearing intercom chatter.
So obviously, the shipwide comms system has been repaired,
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
and perhaps the command section of this ship has been repaired. If they were able to turn off the red alert that has been going off for the last 14 hours.
Yes.
Tara, does Tara's data pad say anything?
Oh no, I haven't connected it to computer or downloaded anything.
Are you looking at it, Maria?
Yeah, I'll look at it.
All right, give me a roll for computers.
Ooh,
Okay.
nice.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah, you see that there's now all of a sudden like memos coming through, notes, the red alerts have like first were, originally that just basically were originally posted like warnings of chaos on
Mhm.
deck 7 through uh 5, and then also warning on deck 13 that there was just basically just security called in to break up a fight. And you could see it just looks like a complete area of chaos, and then now all of a sudden it is requesting cleanup on pretty much on every deck. Also at the same time, there is a line of people coming into the medical bay. More and more individuals like keep coming into the medical bay seeking help. Oops, sorry.
Space
Every,
quake.
she hands you another vial of the cure that she's like, here, I'm gonna hand this to you guys and send you out. If you come across anybody else that is a little bit resistant to the original cure that we made, please inject them with this. Without any further ado, I guys, I'm going to be really really brief with you. I'm busy, as you can see. I got more and more people showing up that need tending to. So if you don't mind, yeah. So you guys go on out to the main hall here in Medical Bay, and like I said, there's a line of people coming out, and they're coming into her office. You know, right away, like Dr. Zars, Dr. Zars, Dr. Zars. My feet are like 6 sizes too big, and you pass an Andorian who looks like she has a set of Mickey Mouse hands.
Yeah.
Step outside the hallway. Once again, Tara, your pad starts chirping.
Okay. All right, I look at it. What does it say?
Um, it's asking you to come on up to you guys to come up to the command deck and meet once again with Admiral Bob Vosseller.
Okay. All right. I let my party know and we head on up.
As you step off the turbo lift and you are walking over, it looks like somebody has like taken an opportunity and shaved a tribble in the middle of the floor and did not bother to clean
Ew.
it up. There is also blood smeared across the wall along with some feces.
Ew. This is foul.
Yeah.
I ain't cleaning that up.
Sounds like it was January 6th
I'm a
again.
medical specialist, not a sanitation specialist. Can we see Bob from where we are at the moment?
Yes.
Can we tell what side effect he has from here?
Roll for investigation. Give me an investigation take on that one.
No.
Somebody else.
You can't tell from there. Matt will probably be able to can probably suss it out. I'll roll for Bob.
Admiral Bob Vosseller has a strong urge for gambling and prostitution.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And it lasted for like 7 minutes. So you see Bob standing there with a rather stunning individual. As you're like walking towards Bob and this individual, you're like, who is that? The other thing you notice is that, like, basically, even though everybody here on, you know, on the bridge is really, really, really busy, everybody is giving this individual the side eye. Bob seen you and like waved you guys over to, his side of the deck, just kind of like, hey, come on
Okay.
over here.
Well, I'm moving. I'm mushing. Sorry, I was still thinking about the gambling.
So was Bob actually. He was like thinking
Yeah.
about,
Let's play some bets.
yeah, he play some poker later. He's like, here's the crew that I've been trying to get a hold of. Guys, this is Eradani. Her shuttlecraft just made it in here to the starbase today in the midst of all of this chaos. Thank God she missed out on like the parasitic properties that we had gone through.
Yeah, my eyes are still bulging. I look at Bob and go, no fucking kidding.
Yeah.
Says right now, we're trying to get this back in order. There was much credit to Dr. Zars for finding the cure. She's yet to she said somebody helped her or assist her, but she has yet to mention who that is.
That would be us, Admiral.
You're kidding.
Nope, 100% serious.
The Bajoran is correct. We assisted Dr. Zars in some form or another
Right.
in getting a test subject and then distributing the vaccine to the rest of the starbase.
Yeah, so we had to use the replicator to replicate enough for the entire ship.
That is most impressive. If I verify this, the four of you are up for some rewards, possibly a promotion.
Ooh.
I would definitely. Definitely curious about this. I'm expecting a full report from Doctor Zars, and if it does come in, and you guys are it, like I said, I'm all in for of giving you guys the silver oak leaf. I'll put you in for the silver oak leaf. That is definitely impressive. Like I said, this is Eradani.
Eradani.
Eradani. My apologies. My sincere apologies for mispronouncing your name.
It is okay, Admiral.
Hello, Eradani. I'm Jaeya.
Hello.
I'm Jaeya.
I'm Tarah.
Who's this hunk of meat right here?
Ah! Wow, aren't you forward? I like you.
That would be Vulto.
I quite like the shape of your ears.
Wow,
And-
I've heard about
we
this is internal talk. Wow, I've heard about Orion's being like forward, but wow.
Also, I appreciate how Matt's character just comes right up face to face with mine. Like,
Yeah,
no
just
fear.
wham.
I want to sniff your purse.
Oh God damn it!
I killed Jimmy.
I believe I will have to meditate longer tonight.
Yeah.
Keep my
Meditate? Are you sure?
You're such a cutie too. I like your ears as well.
It's like,
I
oh,
think
shit.
you picked the wrong M word there, Matt, instead of meditate.
Well, I
I
mean,
bet you can tell what I'm doing right now.
We need to have like a Matt middle finger counter.
Cumulus, the turbo lifts open up, and Cumulus comes out and stomps over to Admiral Bob Vosseller.
Ooh, look at that shiny visor.
how's it going, Q?
Yay.
She's like, "That's it. I want out of this starbase. I'm out. I'm done. Get me out of here." And Bob's like, "Yes, yes, yes, yes. You are on the next one going out. There's one going out right now. It is the USS Fauci." She's like, "I don't care. I'll take it. I'm sending them down with you to go and collect all your stuff. Go and take ahead and put it on the Fauci and get off my space station." And Bob turns to you guys and he's like, basically, this is going to be your first mission together. Go ahead and collect her Q's personal effects. Make sure you get them all. because I don't want her back here at my space station ever again. Get them all, load them up on the USS Fauci, and get her relocated to wherever she wants to be.
What did I walk into?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Here I thought it was just the internal dampeners on this vessel that were off.
Packed up, ready to go, nice and neat.
Hey, Mr. DM, I'm pretty sure we're missing Eradani already.
She's just taking her good old sweet time flirting with everybody as she comes down.
Anyway, you go down to the requisitions storeroom, and there's easily a set of 7 crates here that are all nice and neatly packed up. It's definitely a different change of pace from when the last time you guys came down here. That was completely disorganized, and
About to say, it looks a lot cleaner in here now.
it's cleaner. There is a lot of crates stacked up nice and neat, all put in different, orderly, and then also at the same time there's a group of crate 7 that were set all that are all by themselves. And the first thing, I mean, she's pointing at these crates, and she goes, "These are all my personal effects. I would it'd be nice if you guys took care of them. Some of the stuff is very, very fragile and it's been around for a really, really long time."
I am very good with handling delicate things.
She just kind of looks at you and goes, "You weren't here last time. What is your name?"
Eradani.
She definitely eyes you with some form of suspicion to a little bit. She's just she goes, "Where are you from? Are you from Orion, or are you
I'm from Rigel.
so you're not from you're not from the open markets or from First City?"
No,
Have you ever
I'm
been
from Rigel.
Okay, you have ever been to First City?
No,
Have you been to the open markets?
no.
Have you been to New Vegas?
I'm not a prostitute.
I'm not saying you're a prostitute. I'm just saying that you look
cannot
familiar.
buy my services, ma'am.
I'm not saying that.
I'm going
Have
to
you-
report this to HR.
Fight!
I
Fight!
know-
Keep
Fight!
pressing this.
Fight!
Have you been to Blairsville?
I want to whisper over to Kat's character. What is the deal with this woman?
Your guess is as good as mine. Good thing you weren't here last time. She was a little bit discombobulated, and that's an understatement.
As the Vulcans would say, that'd be highly illogical.
The Bajoran is correct. This place was illogically organized.
Illogically organized.
Can I throw myself out of the airlock?
So she's just like, so you're from Rigel and you're totally new from Starfleet. I get that. I just, like I said, you look like somebody I know. She's
Well,
like,
I'm sorry that many of my species might star in the porn that you watch,
Oh, God!
but that's not where you know me from. I broke Jimmy.
Yeah.
I think it would be logical that
I'm gonna turn to Kev and be like, I think you would call this illogical.
You would be correct.
the big question is, and that's probably why there's such a big question about it, is because, go ahead and give me an investigation check really quick. Matt caught it right away. Vasco, which Vasco is that?
That's
Is
mine.
that's yours? Okay, you missed it. Cat caught it.
Okay, I'm glad
And-
I'm the only one that did not catch this.
Right away, basically, what you guys the main group of you guys notice is that a large majority of her crates are stamped with Orion pirate logos.
Oh.
Can I whisper that to Eradani
Yeah.
so she's aware of that? Hey, Orion pirate logos.
Okay, lady, I'm not gonna steal your shit.
And she's like, basically, she also looks at him, like, looks at the entire group. She's like, "Are you guys gonna turn me in?"
I couldn't give a shit what you do. You do you, boo.
You're already off
Yeah.
this ship. What's the point?
Okay. Everybody, roll me a 6, 1d6.
Oh,
I was the first Vasco.
Wait, what did you roll?
Roll D6 Vasco.
The Vulcans
No.
did terrible.
Okay. Between Matt and Vasco, roll again.
Thank you. Oh God.
Again.
Monkey see, monkey do. Okay.
So Q grabs one crate. Each one of you grabs another. One of the crates.
So basically, we rolled to grab a crate.
Yes.
So
Okay.
Vasco
The
was
number
like,
of-
I'm gonna help my fellow Vulcan.
Vasco, you grabbed a crate, and sitting beside the crate is a suitcase that pops open, and it falls over, and stuff rolls out. Yeah, as you pull the crate away and move it, this suitcase falls over, and what falls out of the suitcase is a canister or a vial, and in this vial is what is like the remnants of the black liquid, some black liquid that looks oddly familiar to you.
It's the
Yeah.
Ichor, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the
I
Ichor,
might be
isn't
new
it?
to this group, but I'm getting kind of bad vibes from this woman.
Don't worry, I did the first time too. It's the Ichor, isn't it?
The hell's the
It
Ichor?
definitely looks like it.
So I'm explaining to Eradani what the black Ichor is. Basically, it's like, because I helped Dr. Zars extract one from somebody, and basically it's like trying to pick up a spaghetti noodle with a pair of chopsticks. Like black tar, like think like the smoking commercials, or how they use like tar to describe how your lungs are going to turn out 50 years after smoking or whatever. It's basically comparable to tar,
So it's like black flubber.
essentially. Yeah.
It's a parasite that was
Yeah.
plaguing crew before you came aboard.
Yeah.
I want to shut the suitcase back up.
Wait, no. Yeah, how about
Doesn't
we
exist.
dispose of the black Ichor first?
So
What
what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Yeah, are you going to question Q?
I feel like if we do that,
I think
we're
we
gonna
put
end
the
up.
suitcases down, walk away, and go find Bob.
Right.
Q is like she's got one of her own crates that she's like holding up, packing up.
Well, she's already getting kicked off the ship, but yeah, he needs to know
Yes,
about
but
that.
do we want this? Do we want that parasite on our ship?
No, we don't want that there.
Okay.
Well, I think it all needs to be confiscated.
Yes.
Yeah, I
But-
think you should go get.
All right,
Bob
I go and
have,
I
like, a
sneak
search
back and I
team in
tell
here.
Bob what's going on.
Or at least go into the hallway and make a comm badge
Bloop, bloop.
call.
Do we have comm badges right now?
Yeah, is our stuff activated now?
Yes, you do have comm badges now. Security with the phaser. Yeah, they're coming down with the phaser, and
Oh, it's a 3-dimensional view. I'm like, that guy looks like a chicken. Okay, I get it now.
so yeah, 3 security personnel show up, and you point out to them what you suspect is a tube of ichor with that the parasite is in it. At that point in time, Q is like, wait a minute, what is this all about? Listen, I thought you guys were cool. I thought you guys weren't going to turn me in for this contraband.
I mean, there's contraband and then there's contraband.
Right. We're not
We
talking
aren't
about Romulan ale here.
Contraband, smontraband.
We aren't turning you in for the contraband. We are turning you in for whatever that black ichor thing is.
what black ichor thing is? What are you talking about?
We found it in one of the crates
She's gonna
that
play
you wanted
dumb.
off this ship.
This
The black.
that suitcase isn't mine.
Of course, it's not.
Let me guess. It's gonna be mine because I'm Orion and there's Orion things on the side of it, right? Guilty by association.
Yeah, but you just
Gonna be
got here.
racist here.
Yeah, seriously.
Can we tell whether this person is telling the truth or not?
Very good question. Tara, you're starting to feel like something's like a turning in your stomach a little bit.
Okay.
Give me an investigation check with an advantage. Matter of fact, the 2 Vulcans can do it too.
What, investigation check?
Yep, with advantage. Said whichever one is the best.
Jesus fucking Christ,
Oh.
Maria. Holy shit.
Oh, come
Wow.
on.
Well, I see through that bullshit.
I'm trying to protect Eradani here because she just got here.
Yeah.
Yeah, the both Vulcans can like tell like right away that she is actually telling the truth. You're like 100% believing what she's saying. Matt, yeah, you can you see there is a lot of strange writing on the side of the suitcase.
But it's not in a language that we understand.
Not fully, no.
Hey, Orion, do you understand this?
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Is communications is my specialty. Shouldn't I have a little bit of an edge on this?
We'll take a look at it with advantage because you should have language. Never mind, that should do it. That should do it.
Double 14s, I'm drinking.
Yeah, same here. Woohoo! You are able to read it like it's the Sunday paper. You know, you're reading the Garfield's comic strip. You're like, this is Camille strip. This is Camille script. It is it's a language that's constantly changing. It is all in code. This came from a planet called Kull, which is actually pretty close. The other thing you notice, Amy, is that it doesn't have any security checks marks on it or doesn't have any passport stamps on it.
Oh,
At that point in time, a rather large Klingon comes stomping into
Oh,
the.
great.
He comes stomping in,
Nice
and
forehead. You wash clothes with that motherfucker? No, I'm just kidding.
Well, the second he appeared, I was like, "What is Core doing here?"
he immediately informs everybody to stop exactly what they're doing. Do not move.
Staying where I am.
Well, it's so fun to
Empty
join this
book.
crew.
It
Yeah, he
wasn't like
basically.
this 14 hours ago, I promise.
Yeah, he informs nobody to move. Don't go anywhere. He asks. He's like, okay, I want all of these individuals escorted to the brig for questioning. You are only detained for questioning. You're not under arrest by any means.
Sir, yes, sir.
Great.
the Klingon commander.
He is a commander, and
What's your
He
name,
seemed-
sir?
I'm Commander Kavak.
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 I like your ridges.
Command this cock, you bitch.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Wow.
Eradani, if I were you, I would desist with your attempts to flirt with the Klingon.
That wasn't even
I'm
her
just-
that just said
I
that.
am
That was
offering the man a
me.
compliment.
They are known to bite whenever they're
I can
around.
handle it.
And plus, saying hello and complimenting the Klingon, I'm told for Orions is flirting.
So, we know through DNA tracing that none of you handled the vial, but we know somewhere along the lines that somehow this has this vial made it on here, and we're trying to trace it. How soon was the suitcase, When's the first time that you guys noticed this suitcase? So we need you guys to help us establish a timeline on this suitcase, making it down into requisitions.
We
Did
only
we
just
notice
don't.
a?
Gonna
Did
say.
we notice this suitcase? Whenever we came here the first time.
To
Because
requisition.
I don't remember it.
I don't remember it.
I believe that none of us can remember it being here
Except
the
for
previous
Q.
time that we were in requisition.
Your best bet is Q. Because I don't recall that being in there, because that was the first time we had seen that suitcase and that vial.
I just got here today.
Nah.
Yeah, and she had no part of this. She just got here.
And has been trying to flirt with us ever since.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
You know, you're having such a strong emotional
tomato,
reaction
tomato.
to me. Are you sure you're feeling okay there, over Mr. Vulcan?
We didn't exactly look around though.
We were busy,
It
like,
was
turning
really
up the...
disorganized the last time we were in there. Like, ungodly, like, shit was everywhere. Not literal shit, but papers were everywhere.
What did you notice the last time you were there?
A whole lot of shit. Like,
The place was illogically organized, and there was loud, offensive music.
Yes.
What the Vulcan
It hurt
said.
my antennas.
It was quite loud.
What do you have to say for the state of the requisitions deck being disorganized, loud, offensive music?
She's probably gonna be like, I don't give a fuck, I was trying to leave.
Alright.
And that's pretty much her reply. Is like I was given the space down in requisitions to store my stuff as long as I took over the requisitions hold over the previous officer. My stuff was allowed to be stored down there. I stored my stuff down there. I've been relieved of my duties. I've been relieved of everything. I was given clearance to pack up my stuff and move on to my new life. Let me move on. I have no involvement with any of the infections. I have no involvement with any of with the suitcase. You can keep it, wear it for a hat, eat it for lunch. I don't care. The Klingon's brow furrows a little bit deeper than what you think is possible by a Klingon, but you can see that the look of displeasure on his face, that he is straining to control his fury, and then also at the same time to remain his focus and his duty to figure out where this suitcase come from. What about the rest of those crates? He's like, I see there's a lot of contraband inside those crates. When did you acquire said contraband? Q's like, well, that's really for me to know and you to find out.
That's why he's asking. He's trying to find out.
It is unwise to.
This is an endless circle of questions.
Seriously.
The Klingon just kind of sighs and Eradani gives you the side eye. He with anybody else's presence other than Q. Well, actually, yeah, he's starting to relent on Q and like basically just kind of like he doesn't really want anything to do with this mess. He's like, honestly, he goes, all I want to know is when did you guys notice the suitcase?
Just now. Before
Just
you came
now.
in.
Q, when did you notice the suitcase? She goes, I noticed it when I looked over and I seen Vulto holding up the handle and it was open. He turns to the Orion and he sighs and just looks down at his feet and then looks back up at the Orion, dead in the eyes, and asks the Orion, when did you notice the suitcase?
At the same time that everybody else did.
Yeah, she only came
I
here
just
today.
got here.
Yeah, she only got here today, sir.
You can ask Admiral Vosseller. I stepped foot on this space station. He told me to join this lovely group of people, minus that one Vulcan that's really surly. We go down to this room, but I've never been in before, and been told to carry this lady's suitcase. And this handsome Vulcan over here picks this other one up, and this black vial pops out. They all react to it. I don't know what it is.
At that point in time, Commander Kavak, he basically he walks. He's like, okay. He's like, I believe all of you. I believe you're all telling me the truth. The thing of it is we don't know how this case ended up here.
My suggestion to neutralize the threat would be to beam the suitcase out into space.
Well, the suitcase doesn't really itself pays.
May I make a
Beam
suggestion?
what's in the suitcase out into outer space.
I was gonna say if
And keep the suitcase as...
Yeah, this is like a huge Starfleet crime.
Wait, so if
This we were targeted.
clearly because we arrived on this ship, we spoke with Admiral Vosseller. Admiral Vosseller gave Tarah the datapad. The datapad told us to come down to requisitions. It was absolute utter chaos. Q gave us phasers and daggers. Then we went to the holodeck for target practice. We came out and the whole ship went tits up.
So yeah, he like I said, he totally believes you, and he, like I said, he's trying to establish a timeline of when this suitcase had arrived in requisitions, because prior to your guys' discovery in requisitions, the suitcase didn't exist.
Somebody beamed the suitcase in there?
Huh.
That's just it. There was no energy to show that it had beamed aboard. There's no traces of the suitcase.
There's no ion.
Arrival.
There's no ion trails or
Nothing.
nothing.
Why don't you do a metallurgic analysis on it?
It comes from DNA analysis and metallurgic analysis of the suitcase, along with all the stamps on the side, which you've already read, was that it came from a Camilo, as far as Camilo origin. Camilos are no longer known in... They're supposed to be rumored to be extinct in this in the universe. If you knew the lore, they were basically the kings as far as camouflage. They could stand in the middle of a room and blend in. I believe what you guys said is 100% accurate. The timeline that you guys have given me is valuable. I release you upon your way to do what needs to be done, as far as your duties go. Q, all of your personal effects has been beamed aboard the US Fauci, has been turned over to you. We are not as far as the contraband, you are no longer of Starfleet's influence, so you're no longer of their jurisdiction. You are allowed to take it with you. Just take it with you. Get it off this starbase. The other 5 of you, 5 ensigns, are to report to the USS Fauci. That is your last call of duty. So,
Woo!
Yay!
We got a ship! We got a ship!
you are actually leaving in 1,400 hours.
All right.
But yeah, you guys are requested back up by Bob Vosseller. Bob goes to you. He's like, there's my go-to crew. As you guys walk up, you snap to attention, and he says, "At ease, at ease." He says, "If there's anything that should happen, I should salute you guys." Dr. Zars has filed her report. has confirmed your story as far as saving the starbase. So, with that being said, you are all being promoted. You all go up a level. You guys all ended up getting, getting cozy in your quarters. There was here, yeah, I guess you like kind of paired up, except for Matt. He's all on his own. He's got his own room, his own bunk,
Yeah.
which is nice. Tara and Jaeya, I guess you guys are bunk mates. That's cool.
Yay! Best friend!
Oh, how sweet.
Vulto and Eradani ended up in the same room too. I tell you what, Jaeya,
What's up?
Takev, and Vulto, I want all three of you perception check.
Oh, good.
Ooh,
Go!
nice.
That wasn't
Uh,
good.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, all three of you you pass. So you guys are basically what it is, you know, you lay down and you fall asleep for the evening, and the three of you have dreams.
Oh,
Matt's probably one of the most vivid ones of all, so I'm going to go with Matt's dream.
okay.
Matt has a dream that he is basically, uh, the ship is under attack and he is scrambling to put on a spacesuit. He is doing the best as he possibly can in like the least amount of time. He knows he's got seconds before the ship hull is going to lose its integrity and he's going to be swept outside. So he manages to get his suit all locked into place, and he's got a good seal, and the hull basically explodes around him. There is stuff, debris flying around him, and he is now floating in space, along with a lot of debris and some of his cabin mates. None of him, none of them. I mean, he doesn't recognize any of them. As he's like floating along into space, he is colliding, you know, colliding into things, you know, basically tumbling, smashing into other stuff, and in the process, his communication hub is smashed on his suit.
This seems like it is a nightmare.
Yes. As things go on further, you know, his communications hubs is smashed. He sees what he's like floating away with what is the remnant of his ship. He is like floating away slowly out into space. He sees a large cube out in space, and he instantly identifies it as a Borg cube.
Da da da.
He sees this Borg cube is basically laying waste to a bunch of Starfleet ships. He instantly recognized, you instantly recognize that you're floating in space at what is the Battle of Wolf 359. As more and more ships are as the Federation ships are being decimated, suddenly the cube ship warps away along with the rest, like the remaining ships of the fleet, the ones that are still able to pursue. Now there is a large pile. There's a bunch of other ships that are basically disabled and or just as bad a shape as yours is. And you are now like floating in space with no way to communicate with anybody to let them know that you are alive. You're attempting to fix or repair your your communications patch, and the best you can do is you can pick up some kind of weak signal. As like the signal gets like stronger, you be able to like dial it in, and you realize it is basically um, communications from the planet Earth from the 1980s. It is a radio station.
Hmm.
You're picking up sound waves from a radio station that from Earth from the 1980s.
Hmm.
Have I hit some sort of wormhole? Or has it just taken that long for the radio signals to get that far?
It has just taken that long for the radio signals to get that far.
Can we tell? Can he tell it within his dream on like what year in the 80s it is?
Okay, so apparently,
Fall of the Great Wall, or
I was about to.
I would say, okay, he hears Blondie. How about that?
all right.
This music is illogical.
What was that, Matt?
This music is illogical. Better 1980s than picking up the first TV signal of the Olympics.
Mhm,
I mean, that's a hell of a thing to get in space.
mhm.
Hitler.
Wow.
I mean,
But
and that's a
that
reference to the movie Contact. So what else happens in my dream now?
so as you are like floating along, you still, like I said, you're tumbling. You're like kind of like basically tumbling, like a slow tumble. Um, and you are just hearing this rock or this 80s radio station playing music, and all around it, so you're like floating around you is your dead crewmates. At that point in time, you end up you wake up. You have to do a double check around the room and make sure that you are where you are. Yes, you are definitely, you are disturbed, and you're kind of like, you know like I said, you have to do a double check to make sure that you are where you say you are. Now, Kat, you kind of have somewhat the same dream, uh, but it isn't near as in detail to what Matt did, and the same goes for you, Vasco. And then now is like a good time to get around the ship and get to know pretty much everybody.
All right.
And
Social hour. Let's go hit breakfast.
so you guys end up coming into what is the mess hall, and it isn't really much of a mess hall. I mean, there is a set of replicators on the wall that you can like say,
Okay.
"Hey, I want this," and it produces it for you. You want mashed potatoes and gravy, it'll make you mashed potatoes and
Mhm.
gravy, whatever temperature you desire. Now, it doesn't really make a fantastic mashed potatoes and gravy, but
But hey, that's what you get for free.
that's what you get. Um, it's what everybody gets.
Yeah.
So, you come in there and you see right away off in the corner is Q. She's eating her breakfast all by herself. There's nobody else in the room. You have yet to meet any of the other crew members, but they all know that you're here. They are very much aware that you're here.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point in time, they are going to sit down and introduce themselves. So
Yeah. Right. All right. Well, I see. I see her. Over there. So I go over to the replicator, and I'm gonna have an Andorian lumberjack breakfast. I'm hungry.
I want
All
a
right,
loaf of sourdough bread.
You beat me to my sourdough. Computer, I would like a Andorian lumberjack breakfast, please, with 2 sausages, 2 bacons, strips, and a hot stack of pancakes, along with some yummy, delicious sourdough bread made from the great and awesome city of San Francisco.
I want a bowl of cereal and Tom Brady's footballs.
And I go get my breakfast, and I sit over by Hugh.
Yeah, I guess I'm going with Tarah.
Yeah.
Who in the hell? What in the
Does
flash head is that?
Does the replicator have a interface where you can type what you want?
Yes.
Then I type something in and it gives me what I would assume to be a Vulcan dish. Or what everyone else would assume to be a Vulcan dish.
All right, babe.
Whether it's actually Vulcan or not is none of your business.
Hey, I'm not judging you on whatever you're eating. Don't judge me on my footballs.
I'm being Miss Piggy. All right, I'm eating a lumberjack breakfast.
Yeah, don't even question the fact that I'm eating literal fucking footballs.
Yeah. Wow. So did you guys sleep good tonight? I did. I woke up famished. I am hungry. As I stuff my face with pancakes. This isn't like an Andoria, but hey, it'll do.
I usually don't dream, but I believe that a human would call last night's dream disturbing.
Well, that's not good.
If you don't mind me inquiring, what did you dream about?
Starfleet's worst defeat. The Battle of Wolf 359.
It is at that point in time. Cumulus stands up and flips over her food tray, then like turns on you.
Oh.
And she's like, "Is this some form of joke? Did you guys did not have enough fun beforehand?"
No, what are you talking about? There's no joke. As I'm stuffing my face with pancakes.
Well, let's see. Logically thinking, as I don't do, apparently. We basically snitched on her for something that wasn't even hers. So yeah, she's probably gonna be a little miffed.
There was the slight misunderstanding that mysterious suitcase was yours. Otherwise, we would have not have called security on you.
Right.
In hindsight, I believe, as the humans would say, it would have been better to talk with you and to try and ascertain the origin of the suitcase before calling security in and letting security know as we were heading off the ship.
So as humans would call it, we would say, we're sorry.
You see that a rather impressive individual standing over, off yonder. He basically, as soon as Cube like flipped over her food tray, you see that, this impressive individual instantly, like instinctively reached down for his phaser down at his side and turned.
Ooh,
And
he's
just kind of
all
like
murder hobo. I
measured
like him. So he's
and
like,
he just kind of walks over and he's like, "Is everything okay over here?"
Oh yeah, everything's fine. Everything's fine.
There's just a little misunderstanding.
Are you one of the security officers aboard this ship?
I am the chief security officer aboard this ship.
I think I would actually know that since I am security.
Well, to be fair, we did just get here and haven't been introduced to anybody.
Yeah. All right. And at that point, I quickly put down my fork and like while my mouth is still full of Andorian pancakes. How you doing?
I'm gonna look at Takev and be like, those manners seem illogical.
Ah, hey, when you have a metabolism as fast as mine, you get
Can
a
I
little.
shove the
pinched.
sourdough bread in her antennas?
Hey,
Now keep in mind this is your superior officer, and he
Right.
is just basically just kind of took a measure of you, and he's like, this is my replacement. This is going to be
The shit show?
my
Nice
replace.
job, Tarah.
hey, as and then I like think like, oh crap, first impressions, crap. And then I try and be as presentable as possible. Then as I try and do, I realize I have a little bit of syrup on my uniform, further complicating like my first impressions.
He's like, yes, he goes, I will be giving you a list of your duties down inside the brig, or down at the brig. I don't want to be one of the duties to be you locking up your
Damn it.
fellow crewmates and a guest as well. And then he turns to Officer Cumulus and says, he says, Officer Cumulus, you got roughly 27 hours yet before we reach your destination. Try not to start any trouble on our ship, please.
I'm assuming
And
he knows
Cumulus is
what
kind of,
happened on the preview. I'm assuming this gentleman here, who is identifying himself as head of security, knows what happened on the previous ship.
he does. He totally knows and he totally understands. The situation, and he was kind of like, in a way, kind of expecting some kind of blow up or retribution, maybe just a common snide remark, but he didn't really expect somebody losing their getting upset enough to throw their breakfast. But
Sweet. I'll shut my mouth now.
So you were saying that the security guy totally recognizes what happened on the previous ship we were just on.
oh yeah, he's been briefed. He's been briefed. Um, they were basically on shore leave there at the space station. So the whole thing, I mean, they experienced the whole thing that you guys experienced. So they have like severe high hopes for this group of taking over.
Uh-oh. You might want to lower your expectations, buddy.
And now he's beginning to, he is like just kind of like, what? Okay, he just
thinks
seen
that it's not
this.
because we all treat each other like siblings, but once we go into action, then he's gonna be like, holy shit, they do have brains.
Right.
So, yeah. So he was, like you said, he was away on shore leave along with parts of his other his other crew, and like I said, they had they've gotten a full brief and report, and they know that you guys you know came together and saved the starbase. And like I said, they have complete high expectations of you guys taking over their positions on the ship once you are ready. So, at this point in time, it's just, he's just got his first impression of you. So he's like, other than what
Thanks,
he's read in the
Tarah.
briefings.
Hey,
So,
he caught me at a bad time. Hey, I have to eat. An Andorian's got to eat.
Yes, but manners are also a thing. As you're
I'm
shoving
learning.
your face with pancake. Yeah. You know what? I'm just gonna shut my mouth. I don't got time for this.
Whatever. Yeah, I think you're being overly sensitive.
I think the Vulcans call your thinking illogical.
Whatever.
I'm eating in a polite manner while not eating quite enough that if he asked me a question, I would be forced to answer with my mouth full.
Yeah, I'm not
Oh well,
talking
so
with my
what? I'm
mouth.
hungry. So
I'm just gonna go
whatever.
back to
At that
reading.
point in time, he walks over to the replicator and asks for a coffee, black, hot. Cumulus, eventually she walks, she starts taking off for the door. She's like, yeah, yeah, I'm out of here. I'm going back to my quarters. I don't care.
All right. Well, that's the best we can do. I assume that she's left the room by now, right?
She's stepping out the door.
Oh, okay. Well, I wait until she exits and everything. I was like, well, we apologize. That's all the best that we can do, you know?
Yeah, but
So,
what's words without action?
well, all we can do is like just, as we go throughout our careers is to remember this lesson and try not to do it again.
At this point in time, Lieutenant, your security officer Stanley, and like he stops and he's like, okay, he's like, number one, you guys are going to be briefed in the room next over in roughly 15 minutes. There, you'll meet a few of the other crew members. I suggest not to get into any other trouble. Don't try to start any other trouble. And I would definitely give Q a wide berth if I were you. I mean, at least until she's off the ship. And at that point in time, he walks over to the doors and they open up and he promptly walks out.
Yeah, Tara, next time somebody asks you a question, don't answer it with a mouthful of food.
I'll try better next time. I'm just
No, you're not
hungry.
gonna try better next time. You're gonna do better next time. Or I'm gonna slap your fucking antennas.
Ouch! You know my antennas are sensitive. You do realize
Give
that, you
a
ding
fuck.
dong. Ooh!
As you're like sitting there, just kind of like stirring around your breakfast, the music and the melodies of your dream last night are still kind of haunting and still kind of echoing through your head a little bit. And so you're just kind of like you're still kind of you're in the moment, but I mean you're like you witnessed all of this and you knew enough that there was a superior officer and everything like that, but it's still kind of like still haunting. Like the music is like still just kind of like getting to you.
Right. I can't believe they listen to that stuff. Can we hear this or no? Is it just Matt
Just Matt.
remembering? Just Matt. Oh,
Just
okay.
Matt remembering. Like you said,
Okay.
he's like still shaken up by the dream a little bit. Yeah. I mean, you can relay this to everybody, or
Yeah.
you can.
Or you want to keep it to yourself right now?
I have been able to control my emotions for the past 20 years. This is the most emotional that I've been since that time.
Congratulations. Do you want a football?
Interesting. But that does concern me a little bit if this is like upsetting your emotional stuff, because I know how you Vulcans like prize that.
Yeah, that's a bit concerning.
Yeah.
This preoccupation that I'm having is not Vulcan.
Yeah. Is there some type of meditation thing that you can do to help process this?
I don't know if meditation would work. This is unlike any Vulcan thing.
You want to talk to the counselor on the ship? Talk therapy works wonders for me.
I will keep that in mind.
Do you want to punch a football?
At the door, at that moment, like the door opens up. A maybe 5'6" woman. You could see that has the an extreme command and stature. You know right away that looking at her pips that this is the XO.
I believe I would immediately jump to attention,
Yeah, I think we all would.
probably performing the Picard maneuver as I stand up.
I think we all would. Make sure we're at attention. And I do not have any pancake in my mouth.
She's like, "Good morning, one and all. I'm your XO, Officer Spears. Please relax, relax. Enjoy your breakfast. You guys done enough for the fleet already. I am, so super happy and excited to have you all here today. I seem to be missing one. If one of you did not get out of bed yet.
Yeah, I think she's a bit laid up. Or
Um,
or tied up. I don't know which one.
Yeah, some.
Judging from the sound last night,
I don't
from
want to
when I was not sleeping, let's just say that the other one is in Orion
mm,
and was happy last night.
Oh my god.
She was performing happy endings.
I don't want to know what happened. Are you sure that's not the nightmare I had?
It was like a Chinese, like what they call on Earth, like a Chinese massage parlor.
I don't want to know what happened. I don't care what happened. I'm glad everybody's having fun.
Oh, at this point in time, another lieutenant comes walking into the door, like walks in, and he does a quick salute to Spears and turns to all of you and goes, "Did I hear the words massage parlor?"
God fucking damn it.
Oh, there you go.
At which point I'm just gonna point to Tarah and just be like, or no, not Tarah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna point to Vulto and be like, I don't know, ask him.
Ask him. He's the one who was the recipient.
Still don't want to know.
And he's like, "Excellent, excellent, excellent." He walks on over and he's like, "Hello." He's like, "I'm Lieutenant Nestor, Nestor Riviera. I am,
I want to shove him out
I'm
of
lead."
an airlock already.
He's like, I'm the lead science officer here. Medical? No, no, no. Dr. Hines is medical. Dr. Hines is medical.
You would make ketchup medical.
Yeah. Dr. Hines.
It fixes everything.
Huh.
He's like, I guess you're my two science officers. Yeah, I'm really excited to meet the both of you. I'm really super he's like he goes, I would love to sit down and hear how you guys hacked into the Starbase system. I mean, that's as
Once again, I'm going to
that's
point to
usually
Vulto.
Well, he's
he's like,
talking to us, so
do you guys have like an engineering background? Either one of you?
no, my background was in other things. Other things not related to science, but I am very knowledgeable about science topics,
Oh wow.
including computers and probably astrophysics.
And he's like, well, I mean, definitely we astrophysics out here. I mean, we're still working on mapping out the expanse, so we you know, definitely need a lot more science officers out here. The one big thing is trying to figure out what for resources are worth salvaging and mining, that sort of deal. This is so awesome. He like walks over and he orders a cup of coffee and a Danish.
What kind of Danish?
Sourdough.
Fuck off! No!
It's like I never.
Is
He's
it a
like I
cheese
never had a
Danish? Is it
sourdough
strawberry? Is it
Danish.
I couldn't
It's
resist.
cheese. It's a cheese Danish. Cheese Danish. He's getting a cheese Danish. All right.
Can I once everybody that's of higher standards leaves this room, I'm gonna smack Tarah with a loaf of sourdough bread before we exit and the next person comes in, unless they come in. To which, as soon as we're alone, I'm hitting her with a loaf of sourdough.
So Exo Spears is like, honestly, Nestor, you should just leave them to their breakfast. Let them eat. We know they're not going to get much rest after this point in time. Um, you know, like I said, we're gonna probably have a briefing in the room next door as soon as you guys are ready. Get you assigned up to your duties. Get on board the ship. Get you the equipment and everything that you guys are going to need to take over for whenever you know our shift is done here. I would love to say that the captain would be down to join you, but like you know, obviously he was on his shift overnight, so he's now asleep. Do you guys have any questions for me before we start?
Not at this time, no.
No, I don't believe I have any questions.
All right. Well, as soon as you're ready, go ahead and come meet me in the room next door, and we'll get started.
Is
Something.
everybody of importance out of the room?
Now, Lieutenant Nestor is still there. He's gotten his cheese Danish.
I assumed he would have left after he got the stupid Danish.
He's like he's like, welcome aboard, gang. And he's like, it's gonna be so awesome to work with all of you.
I want to punch him already.
Bah!
I really want to sock him in his fucking jaw. I hate this guy already. This guy's going to annoy the absolute piss out of me.
And
So
he
we've
steps
met
out.
everybody else's superiors, and I have yet to meet mine. This is scary, and I want to know what you're planning. Are we done eating our breakfast, folks?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, so we go over to the other room here.
The Spears, she tells you, it's like, okay, this is what. First, she starts in on you, Jaeya. She basically kind of like goes, she's like, I understand your role as an observer is here, as you are not in any way, shape, or means beholden to Starfleet rules or regulations as you try to make your decision on whether or not you want to join Starfleet. That being said, you're probably going to be assisting Dr. Hines aboard the ship. I mean, honestly, there really isn't a whole lot of bumps and bruises and band-aids to be passed out or anything like that. I mean, we still have like regular monthly physicals that we have to go through, but that you can help him and assist him with. But for the most part, it's you are to take care of the ship while Dr. Hines is away on away teams. Anybody who gets beamed board back a ship goes through the quarantine protocols, goes through to figure out whatever physical ailments or anything like that. Make sure that they don't if they need medical attention, take care of that.
All right, I'm writing this all down in my book that I have.
All right.
So yeah, she's like, you'll be meeting with Dr. Hines before too long. He adheres to his own schedule. He may be up and about. He's medical is not. It is a branch of Starfleet, but they do have their own sets of rules.
Okay.
They do have their own order of operandi. You um, they've all taken the Hippocratic Oath, just like you have, and that's what they're beholden to. Now, the rest of you, on the other hand, are. Tara, I know you've met your superior officer, security officer Eric Stanley. Vulto and Takev, you guys will be assigned to underneath Nestor. For the most part, we are we're discovery ship first, a solution ship second. We are totally out here on the edge of, you know, this known space. What we are doing is, pretty much we're doing a lot of patrolling, settling mining disputes, taking care of wayward followers of the gamblers that come out of New Vegas. Um, we try not to get involved in the debt collection protocols. We will not intervene in the debt collection protocols. That being said, you're going to see some stuff that isn't exactly Federation okay. You may see some slave trade back and forth.
And what is our response to that?
Being this is neutral space, we can't do anything about it. We can only observe. I'm not saying that we haven't taken on guests here and there who we known has had an active pursuant or an active warrant for their debt and have dropped them off in an area that we know that certain individuals won't go. And that's all I'll disclose about it. And of course, all of that's like underneath the books. We don't tell that to Starfleet. So at that point in time, she gets finished talking about that spiel. The doors open up and in walks. Sorry, phase shift, space quake. At that time, the door opens up and Dr. Hines walks in. Like, hello, everybody.
He's a Simpsons character.
Oh, that's awesome.
No, I
No, keep talking. I want to know where this goes. Keep going.
No.
Keep going, motherfucker. Because we're not going to speed past this like you didn't just do that. So keep going.
I did. Hello, everybody. I am Dr. Hines.
Hello.
I am here to tell you to eat your vegetables. No, he's like, in all seriousness, he's like, I am Dr. Hines. I am the medical doctor aboard the ship. I am here to make sure you guys are in fine working order. If you're in fine working order, then the ship's in fine working order. And he's like, now, which one of you is Jaeya?
I stand up and say, that's me, sir. Sir, right, sir?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So he walks over and briskly shakes your hand. And he's like, I should have known. I had the briefing. I read the briefing beforehand. Should have known the Bajoran. You reach out, you take his hand, and you shake in this human custom of greeting, and his hands are really, really warm and mildly they're like swollen from, and you can see that they're swollen from arthritis just from your medical opinion.
Mm-hmm.
If you want, you can do a quick medicine check on him to see if you can see what else you can find. Wow. Okay.
His hand's fucked up, Jim.
You know when his last bowel movement is. That's how good you are.
I know what he just ate for breakfast.
um yeah, quickly catch like his pulse, and you see that it's a little bit irregular, that he does have irregular heartbeat. You also see that, the bags below the eyes, and then there's a lot of varicose veins in his cheeks. He's suffering from some rosacea. A lot of heavy nights drinking. So you can kind of tell that he's like, he's on the cusp of retiring So you know that he isn't going to be on the ship for very much longer. That's kind of what you got a good grasp of. And then you got to figure out how you're going to fill this guy's shoes. So you are like instantly like going, "Oh, okay, greetings," and then go, "Oh shit, I got shoes to fill."
Pretty much.
Yeah,
I'm
you
just
know,
like,
it's like
well, this is gonna be fun.
I gotta get good. And it says, "Greetings to you, to the rest of you as well." He's like, "I'm gonna have to ask for a physical after each and every one of you,
No.
to better ascertain my level of care for you.
Oh, God
You all
damn it,
look
you
fit as a
fucks.
fiddle, and make sure that you're in the finest fit order. Jaeya, I expect you to see you around the medical bay shortly, as soon as Dr. Spears is finished with you."
Yes, sir.
Oh no, that's one more thing. Just call me Heinz. Thanks.
Alright,
Thanks.
Heinz.
No sir. No sir about it. Just Heinz.
Okay, Heinz.
And at that point in time, he walks out. So she's like, "Well, that's about it. Other than our engineering, Lisa Moore and Captain John Avon. Like I said, both of them are now resting because they had the shift overnight. So, any questions?" "Well, that's pretty much all of the briefing that I have for you right now. I will send you all your duty assignments." And at that point in time, she hands each and every one of you a data pad. Tara, you still have the original data pad yet, so the rest of you just add a data pad to your
Oh, okay.
inventory. She's like, "Once again, welcome aboard. I'd really wish the other one was here, but you know, I guess I will have a private briefing with her later."
Be careful with that.
You know, she is the XO and she is a communications officer. And
So this is her superior.
Oh,
I
God.
just picture Amy trying to flirt with her already and then finds out after the fact that it's her superior and she's like, oh shit.
at that point in time, she steps out the doors and heads on down the hallway. She basically leaves you guys to amongst yourselves with your new data pad with a list of your duties.
Yay. What does my data pad say?
You are to report to medical bay and sit with converse with Dr. Hines over your new assignments. One of them was, obviously collect physical information, the physicals off of your.
I have to give my
Yeah.
shipmates physicals. Alright, line up, assholes.
Just don't touch my antennas. They're sensitive.
Yeah, I'll think about it.
Ooh, wow. Okay. Who is that?
I'm
Which one was
assuming
that?
Tara. Well, yeah, I'm assuming Tara went first.
Yeah, I said, fuck it, I'll go first.
All right, who's next? Takev, you want to go next?
I suppose.
All right. So the first one is Tara. Second one's Takev. The last one's Vulto. Or do I need?
Well,
to
we'll do this. Yeah, you're gonna have to do one on yourself as well. But here's the thing: we're gonna mix this up a little bit. So you did Vulto next, and Matt's will be the 9.
Oh God, why?
And yourself even comes up a little bit weird too. At that point in time, both you and Takev look at each other, and you kind of look at each other. You're like saying, "The sun is shining. It is 78 degrees. It is now 3:30 in the afternoon. Traffic is, and then it just kind of fades out. But both of you clearly, distinctly heard it, between the two of you. The rest, Tara and Vulto, didn't hear anything.
So the two people that don't know that they've had the dreams, there's like, it's a sunny afternoon, it's 3:30, are the only two that heard that.
The two people that had the most vivid dreams had heard that while you were doing the scan. And that was you and Matt.
I'm gonna look at Takev and ask, did you hear that too, or was that just me?
Amazingly, I did hear that as well. If you're talking about an ancient radio transmission,
Yes, I'm not quite sure what to make of that.
again, it is quite disturbing, as the humans would say.
Now, Tarah and Vulto, you like you said, you hear this exchange between the two of them. What do you make of it? I mean, you didn't hear anything what they're talking about, but you hear the exchange between the two of them.
Well,
All right.
but through my exchange, I'm going to assume that Vulto's still thinking about last night and therefore not paying attention.
No, I'm
Okay.
thinking about I am thinking about actually how embarrassed I am having a stuff full of pancakes still.
Okay.
Yeah.
It is at this point in time that you, Jaeya, fully ask, to Kev, what did you dream about last night? Fully tell me everything.
Right.
And I relate the dream in high detail. Just imagine that I've basically said everything that Jimmy said earlier, and
Okay, so I'm writing that down in my book, and my book is highly guarded on myself, by the way.
and at the end of the dream, I received a transmission from 1980s Earth in San Francisco. There was music, Earth music, judging by the tonality and construction, and then there
And the
was
shallowness.
then there was a weather report
What did the weather say?
that it was going to be warm in San Francisco, approximately 78 degrees Fahrenheit.
Was there anything else that you heard on the radio? Like any news reports, like kind of like where we can date like what year from the 80s this was?
I do not believe that there was sufficient material
Okay.
to completely
Oh, okay.
date this transmission.
Okay. Yeah, you head on down the halls, with this information with a data pad. As he's like walking down the hallways there, a song starts slowly come into your head, and you're like, "What is this noise?" And as soon as you like get so far out, as you keep walking down, then it's like it, fades away. But the lyrics kind of like somewhat stay a little bit. Like the backbeat, you can still hear the backbeat. It's stuck in your head
Okay.
like an earworm. Matt, you and Vulto are like heading down to the engineering and science base, and you're like heading down there, and you basically experience the exact same thing. Only for you, it doesn't fade away. The music doesn't fade away. It keeps getting louder.
Oh, that'll be annoying.
You guys come walking around the corner, and here is Q. She's got a corner set up in the engineering bay, and sitting on a pile of barrels is her monster radio once again.
Oh,
And
no.
ironically enough, it is playing the exact same song that was in your head. Matt, you're definitely taken back by this. This is a weird anomaly. Number one, a weird anomaly that you're just kind of like going, what is this? What is this mess?
Is your radio receiving a communication, or is that some sort of recording?
It is receiving. It is actually receiving old broadcasts from Earth.
Fascinating.
When when my ship got shot down in the Battle of Wolf 359, I was jettisoned out into space. My suit was badly damaged in the explosion, and that's all it would do is receive radio transmissions.
What do you remember about that day?
Well, it was days, and I remember most of it. Unfortunately, I remembered everything. I remember seeing like my crewmates floating around in space around me, lifeless. I seen what was the remains of my ship and other ships floating around me. And all I could hear was these radio stations from my home planet Earth. That was the only source of comfort I had for the next 72 hours.
Do you have any mental telepathy skills?
And she's like, she kind of laughs a little bit, and she's like, some, not a whole lot. I mean, obviously you can see that I'm augmented.
Because as much as I hate to admit this to a person who deals in smuggled items and is not officially a member of the crew, I've had a dream that matches your description almost completely. And it is very disturbing. I was wondering if you had anything to do with this dream. It seems to be plaguing me and a couple of my shipmates.
She's like, at first she's kind of like looks at you weird, and then she's like, so there's more things that you would like to blame on me.
No, it was just
No.
it was the logical determination that perhaps you had something to do with this, as that was your experience.
Not that that's necessarily a bad thing.
Your experience matched what I dreamt last night. I am a Vulcan. I do not dream. Certainly not quite like that. It affected me very emotionally. Then there was a resurgence when that Bajoran was scanning me. The music, the news report.
You're you're getting news reports as well?
It talked about the weather in San Francisco being 87 or
78.
78 degrees Fahrenheit. I assume it was Fahrenheit because humans cannot exist in 78 degrees centigrade.
At that point in time, she like looks at you and she's like, was the traffic backed up down the expressway over to the I-70?
I believe it was.
At this point in time, she walks back over to like her radio over on the crate, and she quickly like examines it. At that point in time, she comes back over and she's like, okay, don't take this the wrong way or anything, but she ends up like holding up an instrument up to the side of your head. The instrument is like basically kind of like scanning your head a little bit. For some reason you are picking up, radio waves at 97.3 gigahertz. What about your friend? Did your friend here get are you receiving transmissions as well? And she points over to Vulto.
Unfortunately, yes.
Ooh.
I have received the same dream, although much less clear.
And judging by your you're walking, I would believe that you received the same transmission just a couple of minutes ago as we were on our way here.
And she's like, don't get involved. Don't get involved. Don't get involved. Number one, rule number one, don't get involved. Don't get involved. I am no longer Starfleet. I'm no longer Starfleet. And she chants this as she walks away. At that point in time, our friend Nestor shows up. That's Lisa Morrow. That's Lieutenant Lisa Morrow.
Well, I'm not there, so I'm not getting in trouble.
Yeah.
She's the engineering one, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's Lieutenant Lisa Morrow. She comes over with Nestor and she's like, hey, yeah. She goes, I was just coming over to say hello to you two that, before I turned in for the night, I had those overnights, monitoring the ship overnight. So, I'm leaving it in charge of you three. Just wanted to stop in and say welcome aboard before I turned in to go to bed. She's like, did the captain stop down and see you guys?
The captain has not stopped to see us yet, but the Ezek said that he was sleeping because he had the previous shift.
Yes. Yeah. Everybody pulls a shift here. It doesn't matter your manner. It doesn't matter your rank, your nobility. Everybody pulls a shift. There's so far few and thin of us aboard the ship already. None of us can, afford to, afford not to take a shift. She's like, I'm glad, she's like, did you guys hear music like a little bit ago? And this is what Nestor said. Is like, yeah, that was Q in her radio. She's pretty fond of it. I've warned her once before to keep it turned down, as we get to her next port to call, but obviously the rules don't apply for her because she's no longer Starfleet. And she's like, I hope when we, whatever rock we dump her off at, I hope she finds a nice home, that she can sit back, relax, do her thing, stay out of trouble, and stay out of our space. And at that point in time, Lisa bids you guys adieu and wanders off. It's back to Nestor, and then Nestor and you two. And he's like, well, guys, I guess the best way to do this is pretty much just jump into it. I'm gonna take you down to the dilithium chambers. This is where the magic happens. He takes you guys down a hallway and another area, and next thing you know, you're a room that looks oddly familiar, like you were just here. It's like, this here is our twin dilithium chamber. This what powers the entire ship. We are obviously in the Intrepid class. We are we travel at our max speed is a warp factor of 9, and that sucks a lot of juice, but not near as much as our shields and our photon computer capacity. Moving all of that it takes a lot of juice. Reactions happen on both sides, and it ends up, is basically ported out through these two chambers out to the nacelles, which warps space around us. So over here, this is where our control our shields, our shield power, life support. Last but not least is our weapon systems on the far. far right. Any questions?
No, I do not believe I have any questions.
Everything on this board over here that controls the power to the bridge. And finally, our replicator's power. So, or actually, no, sorry, my bad. The last one is for our shuttle base in the back. And shuttle bay gets a little bit glitchy every once in a while. Doors tend to stick. We're still trying to figure out why. I mean, for the most part, we ain't gonna really worry about it unless you're jumping one of the shuttles. Just be sure the door is open before you hit the go button. Otherwise, you're gonna hear a monster crunch.
I raise my eyebrow with a expression that says obviously, but not quite obviously, said by Professor Snape.
So, with that being said, he goes to both of you. He's like, so, I mean, one man, for the most part, we've been operating on one man, taking control over, one side down here, or one, taking care of the entire control room down here. For the most part, we're going to leave both of you down here till you get used to the equipment. And once you get used to the equipment, eventually you'll be all, operating it down here by yourself, all on your own. He goes, it just, it'll take a little bit of time to figure out everything and, where everything is located. It's just it doesn't come natural, and we don't expect it to come natural. By all means, take your time, get familiar with it. When you're ready, you're ready. Any other thoughts, comments, questions, concerns, bitches, complaints? Next, he takes you up through, he takes you out of that room, down the hall, and into some turbo lifts, and you guys come into
hello.
and he's like, and here is our other mode of transportation, the transporters. And, he's like, obviously, he's like, so over here is our control. Between engineering and us science officers, we take turns and roles on this shift. He's like, actually, we probably could settle this fight right now, because now that there's more of us on this ship, we can assign duties. We are now cruising at a warp factor of 7. Let's see which one of you is good enough to teleport a rock from between Matt and Vasco. Give me a computer's check.
Jesus. Once again, hold my favorite phaser and watch this.
Basically, Matt transports some weird piece of machinery, just kind of drops in there. It just drops onto the transporter's floor. It just clang and falls. You proceed to look at each other like, okay, that was rather it's something, and he basically just kind of he's like, yeah, well, you got something. I don't know what you got, but you got something. Is that a control arm? And then out of nowhere, Vulto steps up, and a large rock just drops right on the transporter room floor. And Lieutenant Nestor is like, nice. I think we got our guy. We got our guy.
Right.
He's like, let's see what we picked up. At that point in time, Nestor runs up the ramp and pulls out his tricorder and gives it a scan. He's like, "My cub, we got some silicate, a little bit of dilithium, not a lot, but you know what? Her engines will burn it." You know, and he's like, "I'm gonna send that down to downstairs to shipping bay." And then he's like goes back over and he's like looking at what could possibly this be a control arm, and then he's like, "I was wrong. He's like, this is the antenna off of a freighter. You just took off somebody's communications antenna."
Ah,
Wah,
wah, wah.
wah.
He's like, "Yeah, we're gonna
So-
make that
so-
disappear."
So basically, what you're saying is the USS Tom Brady's not gonna be able to call for help.
Ah.
So he's like, "Yeah, so this is, like I said, this is a transporting room. On the other side is our quarantine room." He goes, once again, he's like, "Is there any other questions, suggestions, bitches, complaints, concerns out of the two of you?"
No, I do not believe I have any questions.
Well, if there's nothing else that can be said, so I'll let you two I'll dismiss you two to go back to your cabins to you know, further relax. I'll expect your next shift to begin uh after we land or after we get into low orbit. You two are dismissed. Jaeya, as you know, I mean, you're like, well, I mean, if nothing, they're consistent. Everything is where it was before. There's no, you know, and you're like, you know, the familiarity gives you comfort, especially with the task that you kind of know that is coming, and what you got to be like partake, and you're like, well, you know, I did assist Dr. Zars and got through that whole hurdle, you know, and managed to save us whole starship. I mean, that's pretty impressive for a, you know, an ensign, or not even an ensign. You're, you know, just a regular Bajoran, nothing fancy.
Just
You're
here.
generic.
So you walk into Dr. Hines' office. He's like, you know, "Welcome to my medical bay. It's no different than anybody else's. We don't see a lot of dicey stuff around, you know." He's like, "We don't really see a lot of dicey stuff while we're here in warp and things going on. So it's usually generally pretty quiet. The only thing I got to do is he goes, "Well, the only time that things get really, really dicey is when we obviously have our away missions, when we get our special assignments to settle disputes here and there." He goes, "That's when things kind of," he says, "they get ugly, and they get ugly really quick." I assume that you collected the data from all of your crewmates' physicals.
Yes, Heinz, I did. Here is that information.
He like quickly looks at it, looks at it, looks at it. There still seems to be one missing.
As far
And he's
as
kind
I'm
of,
aware of, that one is still asleep.
the miners want it, you know, want it for its resources. The gamblers and the prostitutes want the miners' money. The Ferengi want to control the whole works. Nowhere else is there an individual that had the audacity just to straight up buy an asteroid. Dr. Hines is, you know, like I said, he's there. He's just kind of like, he's kind of giving you a little bit of a brief history of the area and a rundown and everything. And he goes, you know, "You're not Starfleet," and he goes, "Quite honestly, neither am I. I'm just a doctor."
So, much like
Eh.
myself, you're also just here.
Yep. jumped aboard to, collect a paycheck. I've been out here for, flying with the fleet for the last 7 years. So,
Only 7?
well, I mean, I did have a practice on Earth and was highly acceptable, uh, successful. Just figured out that one day I was like, kind of wasted my life and sitting there, I just floating on that one rock. I decided just to, accept a position and, go out and see the universe, see how big it actually is. And he goes, I don't regret my decision. I just don't think it was a smart one. He goes, I see that you're like pretty chummy with the rest of your crewmates, and there's nothing wrong with that. The only thing is I suggest is don't be prepared to bury one or two of them. Not everybody that's on this ship is was originally part of this crew. But it's not all bad stuff. I don't want to discourage you in any way, shape, or form. I mean, he's like it can't all be bad. You guys could make some really good fun memories. You guys could probably even maybe even retire together on top of this ship. You know, aboard this ship, retire together, and after the end of 5 years, who knows? At that point in time, he pulls out a bottle from the one chest and pulls out two drinks or two glasses, and he pours you a drink and one for himself. You see that he's a little bit heavy-handed for himself, and he holds it up and he's like, "A toast, welcome aboard. Do you drink it? You gonna pick it up?"
What kind of drink is it now, asshole?
Ah.
It is a clear liquid, so you have you're like, this is weird. So as you pick it up and clink the glasses together, you're like,
I'm just
as
gonna take
soon
a
We're
sip.
not here, so
I'm just gonna take a
you're
sip.
you take as soon as you take a sip, like your lips and your tongue are like instantly numb,
Oh.
and your throat catches on fire.
Alright,
Oh my
so
goodness.
West Virginian moonshine. Do I hear banjos playing in my head as my throat is on fire?
It's funny that you mentioned that. Once again, once again, the music starts playing in your head, and it's a little bit uh, it's a little bit louder this time than normal. Um, you know, almost completely caught back on it. It's kind of gotten you like reeling. It's almost deafening. That's how loud it is inside your head. Right. Well, at first he thought, well, his first thing was that he thought that he actually it was the moonshine that was affecting you. But the way you grab your ears and your head, um, he obviously sees that it's something different. It's something else. Like, what is wrong with you?
I then proceed to tell Hines about the dream I had, which wasn't as vivid as Takev's, but Takev did tell me about his dream. Right, you did tell me, right, Matt?
yeah, I think I told the whole group.
He seems a little bit taken back, and then he kind of like goes. He's like, "Do you he's like, do you believe in telepathy? You come on over, or like you end up coming into the brig. You're following your data pad, which
Mhm.
once again is like got a map of the ship and showing you where to walk to.
Right.
As you come around the one corner, you see the familiar face uh, of Eric Stanley.
Okay. Hey, Eric, how's it going?
He's probably going to be less than impressed with you because this is the dude you were talking to with a mouthful of pancakes.
Pancakes.
Yeah, why? I would have said lieutenant or whatever his rank is, but
I'm informal.
Exactly. So she's not
and
exactly
you
leaving the best
necessarily get
impression
buses
right
on the ensign.
Hey, I already fucked it up. So, oh well. Hello,
She's a
sir.
junior. She's um yeah, he's just kind of like your first and foremost mission is, the safety of the crew. Your second is for the safety of the ship.
Understood.
Uh, he walks over to a replicator and he goes, "A napkin, please, wet." And he grabs it and he like comes walking back over to you, and he goes, "Finally, your mission is to investigate." And he goes, "Eventually, you're going to get to the point to where you're going to be able to walk into any scene and see, figure out rather quickly who's lying, who's telling the truth. Observe the points of entry, observe points of exit, eventually be able to track and pursue individuals." But of course, that's all third. As he's like, sitting in there cleaning off the front of your uniform. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Every once in a while, like I haven't had Andorian pancakes for so long. I do apologize for that. That was rude of me, as my colleagues did point out to me, and I do apologize. I must say, the ship does make some pretty good Andorian pancakes.
He's like, I wouldn't know. I throws out the throws down the napkin, and as he does so, a drone robot comes out and like pretty much cleans it up for him. Yeah,
Mm.
shoots out of the wall and scoops it up and takes it away. Yeah, he goes, "This here is the brig.
All right.
There is 2 rooms. That's all we really have for in each room. We can basically set up beds for multiple individuals, but that's just about it. It's very rarely that we ever have to lock anybody up in the brig. Uh, I'm not saying that it doesn't happen, but this is where
Mm-hmm.
this is the holds for them.
What do you usually lock people up for the brig for? What are usual the offenses that require that the ship runs into?
Um, for the most part, we do have a couple of smugglers come through.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, come through. But for the most of the time, we hold them on their ship rather than inviting them aboard. It's too much of a risk. I mean, if you're going to lock somebody up in the brig, that would be probably one of your own crew members, and it's
Mm.
always what usually leads to locking ones up in the brig is a lack of discipline.
Mm.
Of course, down here we also have our riot gear. We also have down here we have our boarding gear
Hmm.
for when we have to hostilely board another ship. Once again, that's something that is pretty rare. Nobody ever really usually doesn't go that route. That nobody wants to, mess with a Federation ship. Most of them are willing to allow us to board. Patrol back and we go about freely. They see what they are hauling and let them go about their way.
Okay. How many people are on in security department?
You're looking at it.
Oh,
It's you and me.
Oh, interesting.
If I were there, the question I would have would be, what happened to the rest of them?
Yeah. Well, it seems that
What hap-
everybody's just short-staffed here. So is it just a question of being short-staffed, or was there an issue? Were they wearing red shirts?
We're short-staffed.
Oh,
There's a war going on with the board.
all right.
I mean, you do know that, right?
Yeah, I do know that. I'm not lost in the sauce.
This dude just
Okay.
fucking hates Tarah already.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
and I immediately scrunch up my antennas, like I do know that.
No.
Seems like I got lucky here.
wars.
Yeah, you're doing
Dominion too.
you're doing shots with the doctor.
Yeah.
He's just yeah, we're also at war with the Dominion as well, and
Actually,
we're also keeping. He's like,
Alright.
there's really. He goes, the biggest thing is when, away missions, protect your team. You're gonna probably playing point man the entire time of being, on away missions. At that point in time, you'll come down here and grab any tactical gear that you're gonna need for said mission, and you will see to it that everybody on the crew makes it back safely.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's my job as security, and I take my job seriously.
So he's like, yes, excellent. He's like, your first line of duty is to practice on your discipline. Walks over to this computer and like punches a couple of buttons in, and both brig doors open up, unlock and open up. The next thing he does is he turns around, walks down to the supply closet, comes back with a bucket and a mop, and he hands it to you.
Ah,
And he says, be sure to get the corners. And he turns head, walks, making you like wondering, wow, yeah, I kind of pissed this dude off a little bit.
No shit.
just a little.
Just a little. Makes you wonder as a, like, is what it's all cracked up to be?
All right.
Okay, so we are leaving Maria in the brig, mopping the floors. And like she said, she's feeling perky, feeling, she doesn't feel like she's completely, disheartened. She's like, I just got to do some hard work. I'll get this guy to like me once again. And, like I said, she starts mopping the floors. And as she's mopping the floors, she's starting to whistle as she works. And as she whistles as she works, it is the same song that, Matt's character and Kat, your character, have been listening to in their heads.
That was a good play on that. That was off the top of my head. Just whistle while you work.
Mm-hmm. But it's the same.
The same
80s
blondies
tune.
too. Okay.
Same Blondie's tune.
Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the starship Fauci, her ongoing mission to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life forms and new civilizations, to boldly go where no one has gone before.